If you have Arbitrum and you're trying to make more money either passively or actively, I'm going to share with you guys what I'm doing, and we're going to take a look at concentrated liquidity on TraderJoe as well as Uniswap V3. And I am super bullish on Arbitrum. Taking a look at the TVL, or the total value locked of this ecosystem, since the new year, it's gone absolutely crazy, from about 1 billion all the way to $2.25 billion locked up in this ecosystem. And as we know, they just recently had their airdropped last week, and we now have the Arbitrum token. And because I am bullish on it, I wanted to use my Arbitrum and kind of make some passive income on top of that. It is a bit more active as we're talking about concentrated liquidity, but let's get into what I'm doing. So I'm providing liquidity on TraderJoe, and you can do this on Uniswap. We're going to take a look at that as well. But if we go on to traderjoexyz.com, you have the pool option here. So if you click that, you can see the different pools that you can actually provide liquidity to. Now, if you're unfamiliar with providing liquidity into a pool, definitely do some research on it, because you need to understand what's happening in this pool, and you also need to understand the risks, which are essentially impermanent loss. So if you're providing liquidity into a pool, and let's say your token Arbitrum goes to $3, well, unfortunately, you're not going to make as much as if you just held Arbitrum in your wallet. So I'm going to assume that you guys know about liquidity pools and about impermanent loss. Now, if we take a look at the list of pools on TraderJoe, the one I am providing liquidity to is this one here, the Arbitrum/USDC. And the percentage here is actually the basis points, which is the fee that people are going to be charged when trading this pool. So if we take a look at the 0.8% versus the 0.2%, well, you can obviously understand that more people are going to be trading this one here because there's lower fees. And if you're wondering why I decided to choose this one here, well, that's basically because I was on my phone and I didn't even notice the 0.2% pool. So I may switch it. But if we take a look at the fees that has generated over the last 24 hours, they are essentially right on par with one another. Now, of course, there's a lot more volume in the 0.2% pool, but anyways, you guys get to pick whichever pool you want. And if we take a look at the one I decided to provide liquidity to, I decided to provide a liquidity between a specific range. So this is where the concentrated liquidity comes in, and I'm not providing liquidity to the entire pool. I've decided I want to provide liquidity when Arbitrum is at $1.30. So this is my range, $1.30 all the way to $1.44. And if Arbitrum is either below or above that range, my liquidity is not going to be used, and I'm not going to be generating any fees. So this is the perfect example, because right now Arbitrum is at $1.26, which is outside of my range, and that's why I'm not generating anything in terms of fees. And it's another reason why we have my entire Arbitrum, or my entire position, has been converted to Arbitrum, because it's used up all of the USDC in my liquidity. Now, the same is also true if, let's say, Arbitrum goes to $1.50, it would be above my $1.44, which would mean that all of my Arbitrum would be changed into USDC and I wouldn't be getting any fees. Now, the good thing about this is that if it is in between my range, then I'm generating a lot more fees than if I had just provided liquidity into the entirety of the pool. So that's where concentrated liquidity is very interesting. And you have different shapes in terms of liquidity. So you have your spot, you have a curve, a bid and ask, and a wide. So I've been providing liquidity in this range for about 36 hours or so, and I put in $600 USDC and $600 of Arbitrum for a total of $1,200. Now, as we can see over this last 36 hours or so, I was able to make about $24. So if we just take a quick calculator and we do some quick math as to what kind of percentage that is, just to give you guys a better understanding of it. So we have $24 that we made divided by 1200. That's about 2% in about 36 hours. So it's a very good return. But as you can also tell, the value of my liquidity has gone down because the price of Arbitrum has gone down. So of course, if you held your Arbitrum in a wallet, that would be the same thing. But if Arbitrum goes to $1.50, well, all of my Arbitrum here would be converted into USDC. It would also be out of my range and I wouldn't be making fees and I'd be losing on the potential gain had I just held Arbitrum. So that's essentially your impermanent loss here. So understand that before you decide to provide liquidity. But then another cool thing about concentrated liquidity is I could decide to remove this, take my Arbitrum out of this liquidity and change my range. So now since the price of Arbitrum is at $1.26, I could remove this, and then let's say I wanted to provide liquidity again, and I would want to go to $1.15 all the way to $1.40. I could go ahead and do that, and then my liquidity would be used in this new range, and I would be generating more fees on that, hoping that Arbitrum stays in that range. So that's essentially how I'm generating a bit of passive / active income. Obviously, it is a bit more active than passive, so you have to keep an eye out on what's happening in your pool, but the fees are definitely worth it in my opinion. Now, you also have the same opportunity on Uniswap V3. There's probably more liquidity and more fees generated on Uniswap, so have a look at the two. Here we are on Uniswap. You can decide which token you want to provide, which fee tier you also want to use. And you also have all the stats on Arbitrum on Uniswap. So for instance, for this pool, the ETH/ARB at 0.3%. We can see that over the last 24 hours, there was about $25 million of 24-hour volume. 24-hour fees is around 77,000. So there's a lot more people using Uniswap than TraderJoe. But the only thing here is that you can't really see the APR anywhere. So a cool site I like to use is revert.finance. And here you can actually go check the potential APR of different people's positions. So if we take a look at some of the key wallets or key pools here that I have highlighted, we have the Arbitrum /USDC pool on Uniswap at 0.05 basis points. If we take a look at some of these top holders, and this is again very cool because you can see where people are providing liquidity and where or how much money they've made, how much liquidity they're providing. So for example, this person here is providing about $1 million worth of liquidity between, let's say, $1 to $1.50. It's been about 2.3 days and they've made $7,400 on this, or an APR of about 120%. So you can have a look at different people's strategies. You can find someone that's actually crushing it and just kind of copy them if you want to do that. And lastly, just a couple calculators I wanted to share with you guys. This one, Metacrypt, it doesn't seem to work on Arbitrum just yet, but you can have a look at these other chains and kind of understand what you could potentially make on a 24-hour basis or on a monthly basis if you're providing so and so liquidity between so and so range. And another cool calculator is Uniswap Fish. Again, it doesn't seem to want to work on Arbitrum just yet. There are a few glitches, so pay attention to that because maybe in the next weeks to come, they are going to fix it. But just to show you an idea of what it looks like here, let's say we're on Ethereum. We wanted to provide liquidity in USDC /Ethereum on Uniswap V3. We're going to select this 0.05%. We want to calculate this. Let's see how much money we could potentially make. Choose our range and see what could be the results. So as this loads, here comes the part where you can adjust where you want to provide liquidity and see the impacts of the estimated 24-hour fees you could get. So for example, if we wanted to put $1,000 in this liquidity pool and we wanted, let's say, an average range, because right now Ethereum's at 1816, we wanted to provide liquidity from, let's say, Ethereum minimum price of 1650 all the way to, let's say, 1950. So it gives us a $300 buffer range of Ethereum, and essentially that means that we could potentially make $1.52 every 24 hours for providing $1,000 into this pool. Now, just understand that if your Ethereum price goes through the roof, well, you're not going to be making that. You're going to have impermanent loss, and vice versa. If the price of Ethereum crashes and it goes below your range, well, you're going to obviously lose value in your liquidity pool because the price of Ethereum is going to be lower and you're no longer going to be making fees. So understand that, but this is a very cool tool to understand your different types of positions that you could have, and you can also see the different people who are providing liquidity. So another great tool, I'm going to put all of these links in the description below. Again, I'm providing liquidity on traderjoe. It is a bit more active than passive, but it can be passive if the underlying asset stays within this range. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. With all of that being said, smash the like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below or join our Discord. It's completely free. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.